Alright guys, today I've got something new, unreleased from BetaFPV. It's a new radio. It's the newer version of the LiteRadio 3. It's the LiteRadio 4. It's a more of a beginner radio. I was going to pass on reviewing it, but I really like the look of it. It reminds me of a PlayStation controller. I think it's going to be very ergonomic. They sent me a photo of it when I was asking about it, and I was just like, yeah, that could be fun. It doesn't have a screen, so I believe you use the BetaFPV configurator to set it all up. I'm going to run through that quickly after we get this thing unboxed. Ooh, that is quite comfortable. So it's got 2-position switch, momentary switch on both sides, another 2-position switch, 3-position switch. It's very sleek. It's kind of like the jumper T-Lite actually. Okay, once you've downloaded BetaFPV Configurator, I'll put a link to where you can download that in the description. You're going to want to have your radio off, plug it in to the supplied with the supplied USB-C cable. Once you've done that, you're going to want to click to activate to go into radio transmitter mode. Then you go to the top right and connect to the controller. Once you're in here, you can see all the settings you're able to change. I'm hoping they add the feature so you can add a binding phrase, but at the moment you can just do the plug and unplug 3 times to put your quad or whoop into binding mode. This is where you can change all your throttle and whatnot. This is where you can change what the buttons do. You're going to want channel 5 to be the arming because of ELRS. That's just the way it works. I'm going to change the button to reverse on the arm just because I think that's going to be more comfortable for me. I'm also going to change the one that will be for flip over and crash. You're going to have to see which buttons these do on your whoop in Betaflight and then come back and swap whichever ones you want to swap. I'm used to this layout from my other radios, so that's why I'm changing them here. If you have never used a radio before, then this will all be normal for you. It has ELRS 3 already. No external module bay. It comes in mode 2, but you can switch it to mode 1 if you want. I'm not really sure what the buzzer switch does. Hopefully I can figure that out though. I'm going to save and reboot. Since this controller uses ELRS, there's the possibility to use Bluetooth for your simulators. To get into the Bluetooth mode, you hold the bind button, then power it on, which is a short press, and then hold it. And it's going to go purple LED. Then you're going to go onto your computer and connect to Bluetooth. It should show up as BetaFPV joystick. Alright, we're flying with the Air 65 on liftoff microdrones because I'm also gonna fly this with my Air 65. Alright. This is the first time flying anything with this radio. Now, this isn't a premium radio, so the gimbals aren't gonna feel like some AGO ones, but for being around $43 US, which is currently what I've been told it's gonna come in around. I'm trying to confirm the actual price though. These feel pretty good. I'm gonna bring this radio up north with me this weekend and test it around my parents' cottage. The gimbal size is very similar to the Radio Master Pocket. So I'm kind of hoping someone wants to mod this with those and lets me know if it works, because that would be sweet. I actually really like the feel of this radio in my hand, so that kind of upgradability would be nice. As I said when we were looking at the configurator, it can go up to 100 milliwatts. So it's similar to the Jumper T-Lite, only the Jumper T-Lite does have the external module bay. I'm probably going to compare this to the LiteRadio 3 that came out before it. It's similar, but I like the form factor of this better. Some parts about the fact that you use the configurator is kind of more simple than setting up the radio in EdgeTX, so I could see how that's a benefit for beginners. To be honest, even for me, if I was just starting, that would have been a lot simpler. All right, well, that's enough simming. Okay, we're gonna test my Air 65 with the Matrix 5-in-1 with this radio. It's the first time flying in real life. Sorry for the noises going on outside. Just for a refresher, turn it on. Quick short press to long hold. You'll hear a beep. All right, let's make sure this is still bound. Something's a little screwed up with that, but this beeped, so it's bound. I'm gonna hit record. We're gonna sync that up. All right, that's in view, okay. Feels pretty good. I have this switch here set to turn on and off OSD, so I'll leave it on. Only on 25 milliwatts, I'm pretty sure. So going through the garage is a little messy. Oh no! I haven't flown this build too much. The wind's picking up. I'm still trippy with this radio. Got to Maddie. Definitely enough range because of VLRS. Not really too worried about that. I do like that it's internal antennas for this radio. It's nice and sleek. I need to change this battery warning though. Let's do that now. Okay guys, I'm gonna wrap up this look at the LiteRadio 4. I've also got the LiteRadio 3 here to compare. Ergonomically, I feel this is more comfortable in the hand, especially for thumbing. They both have the ability to change stick ends, which I have actually done. The stock ones are a little too slick for me personally. I like a really stab your thumb kind of stick end. As you can see on the top, this has the 2 position switches, 3 position switches, and 2 momentaries. The LiteRadio 3 has 2 positions and 2 3 positions. There's no momentaries. That may be a deal breaker. For these tiny whoops, I kind of feel like that doesn't really matter. You could use the momentaries for a beeper if you wanted. feature-wise, they're fairly similar in that sense. The Bluetooth on the LiteRadio 4 is definitely a pro. It works really well. It's nice to be able to use the SIM and not be connected to anything. Whereas the LiteRadio 3 has the module bay for a nano module. I'm not sure if the single 1S 18650 in this is going to allow you to pump 1 watt out of it, but at least you have the option to expand the power past 100 milliwatts, which this one is stuck at. This is apparently coming out at $43 US. I believe this is cheaper than that. And the one thing that is holding me back from recommending this over what's out there is the fact that the Radio Master Pocket exists. That I think it's around $60 US, $63 US, and it's a fully featured radio. You can upgrade the gimbals to AG01 nanos if you wanted. It's got the module bay. Just from the stock ELRS, you get 250 milliwatts. The Bluetooth doesn't work as well. It's just the Bluetooth through ELRS, whereas this has its own Bluetooth. Another thing that I would put on the con list is you can't really adjust the gimbals on this. You can take it apart and you still can't adjust the tension of the sticks. I don't mind. I like the tension, but I know some people either like it really loose or really tight. I've flown this quite a bit. I've had it for a month, maybe a little more now. The build, the plastic isn't the greatest, but it's solid. The only thing that's making it not feel like premium, I think, is kind of the weight. It's very light. The buttons could be a little more premium, but what do you expect for a beginner $43 radio? I would use this over the T-Lite personally, aside from the fact that you can change the gimbals on the T-Lite. This is just more comfortable. I can't figure out how I like holding the LiteRadio 3. Like I'd want to be able to quickly arm and disarm with the 2 positions, but that feels weird versus like holding it like this. That feels more comfortable. I guess I could use my other finger, but I couldn't get used to this one. Where this one with that right there, nice little rocker. It's pretty simple. They both use the BetaFPV configurator to adjust the settings. This one, inside the menu, you can add a binding phrase. This one, as I've said, you have to go into Bluetooth mode and then click the bind button and it'll go into Wi-Fi mode. And then just like your ELRS receivers, you can add a binding phrase with Wi-Fi. So if you're looking for a cheap radio to either give to your kid to play around with, use the SIM, or you just want something you can quickly chuck in a bag and not really worry about it because no switches to break, the gimbals seem fairly decent, then check out the LiteRadio 4. Hope you enjoyed the video, and go look it up if you want.